Welcome to the Uplifting Podcast. On today's episode, we talk to Nichole Vicks. Nichole is a massage therapist and energy healer. On today's episode, you're going to learn how she transformed epic loss and internal suffering to discovering her life's purpose.
We talked to her about the importance of self-care, loving your body, building healthy relationships, and the power of continually evolving. So let's get into today's episode.
Hey y'all, it's Randy. There is a trigger warning for this episode. If you are listening to this episode and you feel triggered, please just go ahead and skip forward to the next incredible episode. Thank you so much for listening. Welcome to the Uplifting Podcast with your hosts, Randy and Catherine.
This is a space for powerful women to share their story and to be real and raw about the truth of living your life's purpose.
Any topic is fair game. We check gossip at the door so we can focus on building community and collaboration.
This podcast will help you discover your individual power and give you the tools to live your most uplifted life.
So let's find out what's uplifting you today. All right, welcome to the Uplifting Podcast. Today we have Nichole Vicks here to talk with us. And Nichole works for the state of Hawaii at the Juvenile Detention Facility. But she is also a massage therapist and owns her own business, Therapeutic Massage by Nichole. And her mission is to empower women to help heal themselves. And she also is a member of Women Speak, which is a public speaking group for women. And she is also one of my personal training clients and one of my dear friends. So welcome, Nichole, to the Uplifting Podcast. All right. So we're just going to dive right in so our listeners can get to know you a little bit better.
Okay.
Can you tell us a little bit about your story and what got you to where you are today to, start your own business in massage?
Well, I'm originally from North Carolina. I came here to HBU in '95, straight out of high school. And I came here for school, marine biology, but I ended up graduating in law. That didn't work out financially. So I said, okay, I got to do something else that's going to bring me money right now. I need income right now because my background's in family law. That's very modest salary. You have to be in it because you love it. I love it, but there's no money and I have bills. So I went to school for massage therapy and ended up loving it. And it became my passion, my second passion along with law. So from there, I started taking advanced classes and ended up being a Reiki energy healer practitioner. And that pretty much led me up to wanting to be my own business owner. And it's ironic because it was like a 360. When I was younger, I was like, I don't want to be a business owner because it's too much work. I'm not going to put the time and effort into it. But then I got a piece of the pie and started working with my own clients and saw how amazing it was to be my own boss and not giving people half of my money from giving them all of my energy. So I said, well, something's got to give. I said, well, I don't have a car. I didn't have a car at the time. So I was like, well, how am I going to get around? But that didn't stop me. And then this year I got a car. And now I'm kind of I'm up and going now. And I quit my job that I had for a year and a half when I recently got licensed last year. Now it's a couple of years. And I do events now when I quit my job. So I took that risk of me having to hustle more and to go out and meet more people compared to the stability of having a job that I would go to every day. But I was up for that. I was open. It was time. It was time for my car to start making me money because it is another bill. So now I have a gig that I do every month now for one of my friends at a party. And the clients are coming in through networking through that party. So I'm on maybe 4 pages of clients now. So the blessings are coming. So.
That's incredible. And especially for women, how do you feel like what you do as a massage therapist, how do you feel like that empowers women?
I feel that empowers women because I help them to take a step back and to realize that self-care is imperative. And as women, I feel that We are the foundation of mostly everything, including the home. And if you're not taking care of yourself and you're not maintaining, you're not thinking of yourself first before you can put your energy into anything else, whether it's people, your family, or any projects, you're going to be pretty much half-assed. So you have to take care of yourself first, and that's why I like to reiterate to women when they come to me, and also to help them heal through being practicing Reiki and being a Reiki practitioner, balancing them out, helping them feel rejuvenated once they get off my table or once they leave my session, and just reiterating that don't forget about yourself. Know that you're as important as what you're putting your energy into. And if your energy is not 100%, then you're pretty much cheating not only yourself, but you're cheating other people. And in order to move forward, full force, and bulldoze forward, you have to be 100% with yourself.
And why do you think that so many women struggle to prioritize self-care, or maybe feel like self-care is selfish?
I think for women, we hold a lot on our shoulders because by nature, we're just a nurturing type, and we're emotional. We want to help everybody, and we oftentimes forget that we are important too. Women also have to believe in themselves, and that they have to have that self-love. They have to have a great support system, and they also have to have a positive self-image and body image. And if they don't have that, then how are you going to love yourself? Your self-esteem is low. And then two, I think the pressure that society places upon us as women, that we're supposed to portray this certain image, that plays a major part. If we don't look a certain way, if we don't do this or that, or we don't have the power, and just constantly being compared to men, I think that plays a major part as well. Ultimately, I think we just need to believe more in ourselves, self-care, self-love, have positive body images, and just engulf ourselves around the same people that exert that energy.
And yeah, you did touch on body image and how we have this negative body image for the most part. How are you shedding light on this problem, and how are you working to solve this problem, especially through massage therapy or other avenues?
For me, having issues with my own body image and being bullied and made fun of as a child and throughout most of my life in abusive relationships, I try to instill in women that there are queens, both African American and just any woman of any race, because ultimately we're all sisters. We're all working. We should be working towards the ultimate goal of not being competitive with each other and to uplift and empower. So what I try to do is just kind of shed that light, that positive energy, and just through the amazing women that I've met over the course of the past few months, just encourage them, make sure that they believe that they are worthy, that we're not all perfect. It's an illusion. Perfect is in your mind, is what society has said. I mean, we've discussed it in the Women's Speak, that perfect, that everyone's perfect. They're imperfectly perfect because the flaws make you who you are, and it makes you an individual. But what really is perfect? So we have to kind of step away from that mindset and just be an individual and be like, I'm perfect. It doesn't matter that I'm like 200 pounds and I have to be 120, or I'm 120 and I'm too skinny and now I have a eating disorder and now I got to, binge or purge to eat or whatnot. And in my sessions, through balancing out my clients, they feel at peace. They're more accepting. They're ready to go out and like take on the world. And just with our own femininity and our divine energy as a woman, I think that and because we're so emotional and we're so nurturing, that plays a major part in connecting with other women. And it's easier coming from a softer force, so to speak, to encourage them. It's just easier not because men understand, but they really don't understand what it is to be a woman. And I think woman to woman, we have that power, that divine power to encourage and empower other women, and to make them feel like they're worthy no matter what, and just to keep going and don't listen to what everybody says. Don't listen to what society says. We can do whatever the hell we want to do, just like men, and do it better. We have that power. The power is way different than the power that men have. They have their own power, but we also have it too.
Absolutely. So I know you said that you've struggled with, being bullied and your own body image issues. How did you overcome them to now be at a place where you're empowering other women?
At one point, when I was in my mid-20s, I started to work out, because at that time I wanted to join the Air Force. So I started training on my own, running and working out, doing Pilates, doing aerobics. And that for me, it uplifted my body image of how I saw myself. So the biggest I've been was maybe like about 300 pounds. And then when I was working out, I dropped down to my lowest at 170. But during that 2 years that I was that small, I would say I was the most healthy and most uplifted because of how I saw myself, inside and out. I knew I was beautiful inside, but I didn't realize that I was beautiful on the outside, even with my flaws and my cellulite and my extra layers of skin. But I realized that I'm me. So I accepted myself. And then I discovered Women Speak, and I discovered other likewise women, and discovered Randy, and she's just amazing with self-love, and she's just a beast in the gym. And it's like that has played a major part in my confidence as well. And another good friend of mine that I connected with last year, who surprisingly is a male, but I've known him for quite some time, and God blessed him and placed him in my life. And he's very encouraging, very supportive, and he helped me reach a lot of goals to help me reach that confidence level and be able to be confident to demand attention and talking to people and socializing, both in the network, the professional and the networking scene. And then too, I had the opportunity to travel abroad and use my passport. So I had the opportunity to see a facet amount of women that were my size, smaller, and bathing suits and just doing their thing, and even luscious, big, beautiful women such as myself. And it just gave me like just a boost of just positivity. And I found myself going up to these women like, you know what? Thank you for being half naked on this cruise with me. And you're just beautiful. And then going to a friend's party that I now have doing events with her for massage. I've never had a two-piece bikini on ever since I was like 18. And I think last year I actually was like, screw it, I'm 190. And I was confident enough to do that. And now the events are nude events. So when I came back from my cruise, I took it upon myself, the initiative to just stand in the mirror and just look at myself, like really hardcore, not study, not criticize, but just look at myself and be like, if I want to be confident, how am I going to move to the next level? What am I going to do, or what am I going to say to myself to move to the next level, to feel even more confident and more powerful as a woman? And I just start doing that and start telling myself positive affirmations like, oh girl, you're beautiful. Like, you know what? You used to be 300 pounds. You lost a lot of weight. You can do this. I mean, there's a lot of things that you can do, and just kept telling myself that every day until I was comfortable. Now I don't even want to wear any clothes, but I know I have to. I wish I could just go outside and not wear any. It's like, took a weight off my shoulders to be that free.
Here about
oh, sorry, but but it definitely it changed my whole view of my body image and self-love just by just letting a whole bunch of stuff go, and this was like, screw it and just do it. It's definitely freeing.
Yeah, I hear a lot of things. You touched on really surrounding yourself with other people who are going to empower you and uplift you, and finding ways to move your body, like you said, that make you feel empowered. Because I feel like so often we're told that we have to like do this workout or this is the best way to get the 6-pack abs. And really it's just about finding a way that you feel empowered moving your body. And just to take action, right? And like not allow yourself to hold you back. Like you said, you haven't worn a 2-piece in so long, but you didn't let that hold you back. You like, Nichole says this all the time, she bulldozed forward and chose to take that action, and now feels comfortable walking around on cruises naked. Hey.
Yes! Photos are next, hopefully. Yes!
love it.
God, you're so cute. You know, I wanted to touch on something that you brought up before. You had talked about being bullied when you were younger. I'm curious to kind of know a couple things about that. One, I guess the story behind that, what that was like. Two, what that made you feel and how that shifted you into what you do now. And also three, kind of random, who was it? Like, was it other women? Was it men? Was it people younger, older? Go. All of that.
Oh, there's a lot of questions. Okay, let me see if I can tackle all that and remember. Okay, so pretty much I was a chubby baby. I was a little chub. So growing up, it was mostly ironically, it wasn't so much just by females, it was the males.
Mm-hmm.
And when the males did it, the females joined in. So everybody was cliquish when I was growing up. I was, like I said, I was almost 300 pounds, and I wasn't really popular. I was very awkward. I was a nerd. I was in academia. So it was very hard for me to make friends. So that for me was depressing. It was very hard. And two, growing up in my brother's shadow, he was the athletic one. He was the sociable one. So anybody that I pretty much met, it was through my brother. And we were so like night and day, sociable, extrovert, going out to parties, hanging out with friends, cousins, family. And then there's me just tagging along, that awkward little fatty girl. And then one day my brother got tired of me crying all the time and being depressed. So what he did, he used to walk me to and from school when my dad did. My dad at the time was disabled. So he said, you know what? At one point in your life, you gotta make a stand against people who mistreat you. So what he did, from this one particular guy that used to bully me and make fun of me all the time, my brother was walking me home, and then after, there was like a whole lot of us, girls and boys. And some brother was like, okay, you're gonna stand up to him today. Like, we're not leaving until you either fight him, beat his butt, or cuss him out or something, because I'm just tired of you coming home depressed, crying all the time. And my mom and dad really didn't know, and I was really close to my brother. So it happened, and I chased him and ran after him with an umbrella and was about to kill him.
With an umbrella?
Yes, with an umbrella. My brother was like, "Do it, or it's like fight or not, because you're not going home. You need to face this. You need to get it together, because it's going to affect you when you get older." And he was running my brother. My brother caught him, threw him back into like the little circle or whatever. And yeah, we pretty much had a couple of licks. And after that, that was pretty much it. But it was sad that it had to come to that you had to fight to be accepted. But I'm glad that my brother made me do that, because I gained a little bit of confidence and respect. So as I got older and I grew up and I lost all that baby fat, as my doctor told my mom, the confidence started coming. The guys that kind of picked at me but didn't bully me, they started looking. So I was like, okay, I'm okay, I can do this, So that's the confidence came when I was 18, and just the support from my brother and empowering me to accept myself and to love myself and pretty much just be you. If you're a nerd, or if you're overly luscious, or if you're fat, or if you have cellulite, or if you're weird, own it. Be the best that you can be. So he played a phenomenal role in my confidence and me becoming my own leader and having my own fan club when I came out here to college.
That's amazing. So you talked a lot about your family, and I know, you have a really powerful story, Nichole, about loss. And if you feel comfortable sharing it with our listeners, I just think it's such a powerful story of how you can overcome so much. So if you feel comfortable sharing that, we would love for you to share a little bit about your story of loss.
Absolutely. So when I was 13, I lost my dad to a massive heart attack. Basically, my dad died in my mom's arms outside of our home in the driveway, And we didn't know, me and my brother didn't know until she came in and told us that, you know, Dad's gone, and he died on Christmas Eve. That's when I, back in '89. I was a daddy's girl. I was close to both of my parents, but my brother was a little bit closer. So his avenue that he took was to isolate himself and to pretty much go for the bad, hang out with my cousin, be in the streets, that thug way of life, so to speak. Me, I just became kind of closed off after my dad passed away, but it made me and my mom even closer. So I became a mommy's girl, which I always was too, but I'm always gonna be a daddy's girl. And then it made my mom and my brother's relationship more turbulent because Dad wasn't there. That was a major void in his life. 10 years after that, when I was already here at Hawaii Pacific University, I knew my mom was sick for some time, and I called her on Pacific days, and I knew that if she was sick, she was in the hospital. So I had that ritual that I was calling. If she wasn't home or she was at work, I would automatically call the hospital. So one day, just one of those days that I usually call my mom, I called home and didn't get an answer. I called work, didn't get an answer. I said, okay, let me call the hospital. Because I'm like, okay, Mom's just probably in the hospital. You know, she's not answering one of those two places she's going to be at work. Unfortunately, this call was a little different, because usually I would call the nurse's desk, give the name, and they would connect me to her room. This time was a different feeling, because when I called the desk, the nurse was like, oh, okay, hold on. And then somebody else got on the phone. It was a doctor. So they confirmed my identity and who my mom was. And then it was at that moment that I found out that my mom was DOA to the hospital. When I was way over here in school. Eventually I found out that my mom had cancer. She had a very rare form of cancer. And I'm guessing it was maybe like a few months, or I wouldn't say more than like a year, maybe 6 months. And the doctor told me, and I felt a lot of guilt. That was maybe my first time of grave loss after my dad, and I feel like I wanted to kill myself. The suicidal ideations began at that point. I dropped out of school. I couldn't handle it.
So you didn't know, sorry, Nichole, you didn't know that your mom had cancer?
No, I did not. Not until I actually called and the doctor told me she was actually dead on arrival. Actually, speculation was the guy that she was dating. She probably died at home and they tried to revive her, or she was already dead, but it was DOA at the hospital.
Wow.
And the situation around that was hard, because the guy she was talking to just came in, found her on the floor. I guess she got off the shower and came from a shower and collapsed. She had I want to say a heart attack. She had complications from her cancer that affected her heart. So I guess she was coming from the shower. She felt that something was wrong, tried to make it to the phone. She didn't make it and collapsed on the floor and died on the floor naked. He came in, covered her, and called 911, and he left her. I found that out after the fact when I talked to him. So there was definitely some hate, some discord between me and him. There was kind of always that between me, him, and my brother, because of the emotional strife that he caused my mom. So when I found that out, I dropped out of school, moved to Texas, took a year off, came back, kind of got myself together, started working for the state in like 2005, and then I graduated 2002, matter of fact, 2002, with no family. My best friend was here at the time, but he left because he was going through his own issues, and I helped his sister send him back to New York, and I was like, why did I do that when I needed him the most, when I just lost my mom? So that was double guilt, because I didn't have anybody except for one friend that showed up to my graduation. No family. And then 12 years later, after I graduated, 10 years later, I went and enrolled back in school, KCC, because I wanted to make a better life for myself and leave the state, because I was tired of the job with the kids. Then in 2013, after not speaking to my brother for like 13 years, being estranged from him, I got a phone call from my sister-in-law, his first wife, but they're divorced, but I still call my sister-in-law, that I'm sorry, I think my cousin called me. My Hanai cousin called me, and then my sister-in-law called me, and at that time I found out that my brother had passed away. So that was a big break. That was because my brother was such a strong force. He exerted a lot of strong energy, but positive energy. We butted heads from time to time, but it was just even though we didn't talk, it was the thought of him being there, that he would live forever type of syndrome in my own mind. So that was difficult. At the time that I found out, I was working on a case brief for one of my legal classes, and I actually had a midterm that next day. So we're finding that I didn't really have time to like stop and go. I had to like keep going. So I went to school the next day, turned in my draft, aced my midterm. 2 weeks after that, after pretty much busting my butt for like 2 semesters, I was getting inducted into the Honor Society, Phi Beta Kappa. So, and then I never even stopped going to work. I was still going to work after that. And then handling my brother's death here from Hawaii, and then finding out bits and pieces of his life from the mortuary guy, because nobody really knew. He wasn't really talking to my cousin, but like in spurts. And the other lady that he was with, he was actually they were kind of on the outs and kind of had their own thing going on, and he was actually working his way back to her, but he didn't make it. Come to find out, through the mortuary guy, when they went to inspect where he was and what happened, come to find out he was talking to this white girl, and the white girl left and went to stay with her family, but the family was like, oh, because he's Black, he can't come and stay with us. So my brother died alone in a shed in the woods, like a dog. I don't have anything of his belongings. She wouldn't send it to me. I have like pictures that I just kind of got over the years. And this was like in 2013, and I've been going since then. So I think last year until now is when I actually started mourning my brother. So November and December is very hard for me. The anxiety attacks come, even from like just past relationships, from the emotional abuse. Is very intense. Again, I wanted to end it again. But I think that one thing that people don't understand that go through depression and have suicidal ideation is that that we're not weak. They see us as weak, but at the end of the day, I think it takes courage to end your life. And that's with you having grown up in a church or religion, or even think about your family, because you think that people who go through with it, they think they're at their last end of their string, that I don't want to tell him about my issues, that I'm a burden on my family. But for me, I didn't have any family. He was my everything. He was the last. And then the other side of that too is that you're also courageous because you want to live. You want to live to see the next day and see and you want to kind of fight for your life. You want to fight through that darkness. And I chose the latter. Because for me, although I'm not a churchgoer, I am spiritual. And I believe that if I end my life, I'm going to be in limbo. I'm not going to be able to see my family again. And for me, in the afterlife, I don't want that on my conscience. So prayer and massage therapy and just self-healing through Reiki, massage therapy saved my life. The people that I've met in the past 2 years, and even Women Speak that I've shared recently in our last meeting, I've received more support from people in the past 3 months or 6 months that have encouraged me and empowered me than people that I've known for like years, or that I'm close to. And I think for me, that is what keeps me pushing forward, because I know that I have people that love me and care for me. And ultimately, I found my purpose, and my purpose is to empower people, not just only women and women of color, but just anyone who just needs that extra boost, extra pat on the back, because I've been there. Feeling like I'm nothing and no worth and low self-esteem, and that no one loves me, and why am I here? So through prayer, I prayed, what was my purpose? So now I know my purpose is healing, to help people uplift and empower and encourage. And that has made a major difference in just a world of images, body image, self-love, and just self-image, self-esteem, and my positivity overall. Prayer and and massage, Reiki, healing, the ability to heal myself.
That's
I think
amazing.
that's important. Some of the things you touched on there, suffering only comes when you're thinking about yourself. And so when you're in that space of your loss, not to diminish your loss, of course, because that's your story.
Mm-hmm.
When you go through loss and you think about yourself, like that's where the pain comes from. So for you to be able to switch that and focus on how can I help other women and other people, like that's where the power comes from. I think that's incredible, you know?
Thank you.
What has been your biggest lesson that really losing your whole family, right, and even you wanting to take your own life, what has been the biggest lesson for you out of those experiences?
To not take life for granted. And then to another loss was loss of friendship. That I didn't touch on. I had friends that I had known for since I was like 18. That was one person I was very close to, and then others that like adopted into their family. I was at babies first. Like their daughter almost died from lupus, and another one, her mom was going through cancer, and it's like they just all ditched me because they were too busy to give the time to me to help console me. And I was like, that's a hard pill to swallow when you just lost your last member of your family, your friends ditched you, you're in school and you're trying to maintain that grade because you know your mom sent you out here to go to school and you want to make your mom proud, and that's your second win of all your multiple midlife crises. So it's to appreciate life and to truly live, and to actually sit back and to do a self evaluation as to what the hell am I doing with my life? What am I going to do with my life? What can I do with all this loss and to turn into something positive? If not for me, maybe for something else. Maybe my story can help somebody else when they're thinking that, oh, woe was me, my life is terrible. But you still have a family. I don't have a family. All my family died when I was a baby, and then in my latter years. At least you have a family. So I help people realize that although you think you're going through the worst and you think you're at your lowest, you have a family. You have a support system. Even if you're not close, you can still reach out and touch them and tell them that you love them. And the second thing that I realized is that success. All the accomplishments that I had, I got like 2 degrees. I got a national certification. I have at least 2 binders full of certifications just locally. And I'm licensed. I'm my own business owner. I'm doing different business ventures, meeting amazing people. Pretty much achieved all my goals socially and for confidence wise, but it means nothing. Success means nothing if you don't have anyone to share it with. It's like you can't take money to the grave and you can't have success. I mean, people say they're happy, but truly deep inside, you're not really happy. And that is probably one of the most valuable lessons that I took away from that, is that is just take everything not as a grain of salt, but just appreciate what you have and appreciate the people that are in your life, to share that with. That's the ultimate success. You surviving all of your trauma and your loss, and you're able to live and to talk about it to empower other people.
That's so incredible. And I just want to talk about something really quick that you made me think of, and that's how I think so often when somebody in our life is going through a loss like that, we feel uncomfortable just sitting with their difficult emotions. Like you said, you lost a lot of people in that process because they didn't know how to support you.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe you can help us with some tips on how people can support someone who's going through a loss like that.
I think ultimately, just to be around. If you can't physically be there, a simple phone call, a simple text, holds for me just as much power as just physically being there. Just the little things that count. Show that you care. Take out the time out of your busy schedule and just take the time to just be like, you know what, I know you're going through a tough time. I love you. I'm here for you. And don't just override people's emotions for the sake of yours, and don't justify it saying, well, oh, I'm too busy to do this and that, when you've been one of those friends that's been there for them through all those years. Just little things like that. Just show that you care. Even if, for me, even if I didn't want to talk to anybody and I wanted to be to myself, that's dangerous, especially for someone that has confided in other people close to them that they have had suicidal ideations before. We see it now. The hotlines coming up, popping all the place. We see posts on social media, on Facebook. Hey, if you need somebody to talk to, I'm here. Share this post, like this post if you agree with me. And I think through all the celebrities and just regular normal people that have ended their lives, I think it has brought an awareness of depression and of suicide. That it doesn't matter how much money you have, how much wealth that you have. It doesn't mean anything, because we also have issues because we're human. Just extend that comfortability that you're there for that person, because some people don't want to tell their depression. I get like that, even still yet, because it is that burden. My brother was like that. My mom was like that, and I found out like after the fact. But I think too is that the stigma on depression and suicide, especially depression, it makes it hard for people who are depressed clinically or just going through the woes of life. It makes them hard to talk to people about it. So they feel like they're alone, and they feel like that's their only out is the end of their life. So I think awareness and just people taking the time out to just give a rip about their loved ones, be in their face if you have to. I'd rather have you in my face and knowing that you care enough about me to stay on this earth than for you just to further add to my isolation, and then boom, I just in my life, and then it's like, oh, I didn't know she was depressed. I mean, she said it, but she said she was gonna kill herself before, but oh wow, she finally did it. You know how crappy that is, that you're part of that void that you could have filled, or you're part of that, you could have stopped someone. I stopped my mom out here from committing suicide. I had actually called her, and she was actually about to pop some pills, some of her medication, and I called her, and she said, you know what, baby, I'm glad that you called me, because mommy was about to kill herself, because so many people had just crapped on her, and she just felt like so unloved. And again, the commonality with this is that people don't want to burden others. But you know what? Confrontation ain't always bad. Sometimes it's good to get up in people's faces and be like, look, I need you. I need help. Look, these are the signs when I crash, when I start lashing out at people, this is a sign, like I need help. And recently in Women's Speak, I touched on that I felt that, I mean, I have like roommates and we're close, but I don't feel that they were really there. You know, in my own home, I felt like a stranger in my own home. And sometimes family and friends ostracize you and make you feel like that you don't belong. And we need to stop doing that. So awareness and just being there, just to sum it all up for people that, you know, have that.
Wow. And I kind of want to shift into more of a forward-thinking thought, and what your vision is for your practice, and how you, I guess, imagine and vision continue to help women in this regard, or in the self regard, in the body image, in that kind of realm.
Well, for my massage therapy practice, my vision is to continue to reiterate how important self-care is, and that it's okay to take time out for yourself, and it's okay to step back and kind of look at your life and look at what's going on, and kind of get rid of the people that aren't uplifting to you, who aren't encouraging. Yes. Encourage people to maybe examine or investigate other means of medicine and self-care. The holistic lifestyle has definitely helped me. Detoxing, for us, yoni steaming, I've really gotten into, and it's not just a detox for our flower, but it's a detox overall, because it helps you kind of take that moment to get within yourself, and to kind of get in your feelings, and it sheds it, because our flower is just not our stomach and our brain. It's the basis of our emotion as a woman, and if that ain't healthy, the rest of us, honey, is not going to be healthy. So I mean, just as
pussy
part
power.
Yes, yes, girl. I wanted to say it, but I didn't know if I could because I was talking about nakedness earlier. But that's what it is. And now, when I go to these events, I say it loud and proud. I'll be like, yeah, I'll be pussy popping. I'll be like, twerking and stuff. And they love it. And I'm so boisterous. I make it okay. I mean, because it is okay. But examining other means of alternative lifestyles for the medicinal side, I definitely encourage it, because people are saying you got to take pills, you depressed, you got no, do some oils, inhale that goodness, go out for a walk. There's other ways to get out of that funk that is self-care,
with
not
others,
just like
right?
going to the not just going to the gym, not just eating right. No, honey, there's other facets to that. Go to the gym if you're into that. Even if not, go for a walk. What I found just walking on grass and walking on sand, it opens up and awakens so many senses. That saying, don't forget to smell the roses. Do it, because it definitely makes a difference. I mean, don't open your mind up to a lot of more alternative ways of self-care. In addition to that, for self-image and body image, just do what I do. I mean, people just don't realize how brightening or how enlightening it is if you just go up and be like, hey girl, I like your dress. Because women don't talk to other women, especially in the Black community. Is like, because especially within our community, it's so much competition and so much lack of uniformity.
I think it's like that with all women.
Yeah, but for us, for the Black community, it's like tenfold. It's terrible. But even with women, yes, competition. And I think that what we lack is that that we have like so much power to uplift other people just by saying, hey girl, hey, I like that dress. Ooh, I like that hairstyle. Girl, you is really slamming that dress. We're afraid to compliment other people, especially humans of the same sex. But we got to get away from that, because that aids in the lack of compassion and the lack of love for self and other people, and just standoffish and just negative energy. So for that, I try to do it every day. Even when I go to work, I try to make people laugh, because laughter is medicine. Laughter is just a beautiful thing. And just combine with my practice. Yeah. And so combined with my practice, just try to do that every little bit every day. Try, if possible, I try to make it a goal to talk to at least one or two people, man or woman, and just be like, give them a compliment, just because you never know what people are going through. That little compliment might make their day. They might have had a bad morning, and that could just send them in a total upward spiral.
Absolutely. So before we ask you our final question, I just want to ask if there's anything that maybe we haven't touched on, or a question that you wish more people would ask you that you would like to share before we ask our final question.
What people would ask me.
Or just any final thoughts that you would like to share.
I would say people will ask me more about how massage can benefit their life, and how does it fit in with self-care and how important it is, and just other ways, alternatively or holistically, that we can balance ourselves out and strengthen our foundation to be strong for not only ourselves but for our families or whatever projects that we're putting our energy into. Overall, in summary, just surround yourself around people that you want to be like, and I mean positive people who are supportive, especially if you have goals, and you have dreams, no matter what age you are or no matter what you're going through in life. I mean, I've seen people like 60, 80 years old going to college, getting their BA. Never give up on hope. Once you start dreaming, to me, your life is over. You got to have something to strive for and to fight for. And I think, like Mother King said, keep hope alive. And that's a big statement. Keep hope alive, because you keep your dreams alive. Set a simple goal for like every day, something that you can like look forward to. For me, it's being social, talking to people, and being a part of Women Speak. I look forward to working out with Randy, although some days it doesn't work out like we want it to. But people who push me, and they recognize not the potential, because I don't like that, because but recognize the power that I hold and how special I am. And sometimes I don't see it in myself, but people around me, they be like, oh, Nichole, you know what? You're special. You're a goddess. You're a queen. Like, I hate to see you this way. Surround yourself around people that are positive and motivating. And if you feel low or depressed, or you feel like you're just about to be pushed over that edge, reach out to someone that you're close to, someone that you're comfortable talking to. Set boundaries in regards to your energy. Especially nudging or negative affirmations or negative talk, stop that cold turkey. Because as it takes longer to build up your confidence and get to where you need to be, and it takes a short amount of time to knock somebody down and to kill their confidence. And I've experienced that. Just the ladies and women speak as well as Randy has noticed that, and once people start taking your joy and they start affecting your professional life or your money and your blessings, that's when you have to step back and reevaluate yourself and to kind of reevaluate those boundaries and to set those boundaries. And since I've set those boundaries and kind of open up the communication a little bit more and talk a little bit more about why I am the way I am, and why I'm so emotional and why I dislike this or that, is they have a better understanding. So open communication is okay. Confrontation is just a type of confrontation that you kind of throw yourself into.
Lovely. Thank you. And our last question for you is, what are 3 things that you could tell women that they could do now? What actions can they take now to uplift their lives?
Positive affirmations. When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself that you are beautiful, that you are loved. I mean, we all come from God. So I believe that we're all God's children. So of course we're made out of love. We're taught to hate, and we're taught to hate ourselves. So tell yourself positive affirmations, like look in the mirror, take that 5-10 minutes before you get up and go to work, and put that fake face on, is what I call it. Put that makeup on to start your day. Makeup. Actually sit in the mirror and like look at yourself and already out any negative negative thoughts, and just learn to love yourself as a whole and accept yourself, because how you view yourself is how other people are going to view you. So if you view yourself as like a loser, or I'm fat and I can't do anything and people don't like me, people aren't going to like you. People are going to see you as a fatty. People are going to see you as worthless. If you see yourself as that, if you don't respect yourself, no one else is going to respect you. And lastly, if you don't know who you are and you don't know your purpose, I encourage you to find it, because that makes a big difference. It plays a big part in your self-esteem, your self-image, body image, and just overall how you see yourself. Don't give in to the societal conditioning. Don't let society dictate who you are and how you should be and what you should be and what you should do. Society dictates our whole life, like what you should eat, what you should wear, who you should be, who you should hang around. And we need to work on that. We need to focus more on what we want and our own values and beliefs, and being an individual in every sense of the word, and not concentrate on the word perfect anymore, because it's a myth and it's an illusion. Without a different perspective, is that there's no such thing as perfect, even though we believe that our flaws make us imperfectly perfect. But what exactly is perfect? What is your definition of perfect? What is your purpose in life, and how are you going to be, and what are you going to do to be the best you?
I love it. I love it. We just want to take a second to acknowledge you for all of the amazing work that you are doing in the world and empowering other women to love themselves by really healing themselves. So thank you so much for sharing your story and for being so vulnerable and open with us and with our listeners. I know that this is really going to be such a powerful episode. So where can people connect with you online? How can they get in touch with you?
They can connect with me on Facebook under Nichole Vicks. Nichole, V as a cough medicine, ICKS. And then let me get my Instagram. I never know my Instagram. That's so sad. And I'm always on it.
Link your Instagram and your Facebook in the show notes.
Yeah, but those are the two the two things I'm on, social media I'm on, Instagram and Facebook.
Perfect.
Awesome. Well, this has been such an amazing episode and so wonderful to talk to you, Nichole. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nichole.
And
thank you, ladies.
Our listeners just love this episode, and please go and connect with Nichole and let her know. Yeah, if you're on if you're on Oahu, make sure you connect with her so you can really get the experience of her healing energy. Yes. All right. Thank you, Nichole.
All right.
So much.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, listeners. Bye.
Thank you so much for sharing a piece of your day with us.
Please rate and subscribe to the podcast on whatever platform you're listening to us on.
To continue the conversation, follow Catherine and Randy on social media. Our links are listed in the show notes.
We can't wait to share another powerful story with you next week. And until then,
stay uplifted.